What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Conversations Unleashed. Yes, it is. It is Michael Bonner here. You already know I am adjusting my volume settings right now on my mic. We are in a hotel room. As you know, I've been on the road, but this is the last week I'm on the road, and I had to make this episode for you because I'm dedicated to it. Shout out to all the new listeners. Shout out to all the people on Spotify, Apple podcast. Shout out to the people that are watching right now on YouTube. Listen, I am so glad y'all are here. This is your 10-minute weekly update. And listen, y'all, we start school at the Ron Clark Academy on Thursday. If you have not seen our first day of schools, it is like something you've never seen before. We put on this experience that truly allows kids to really be excited. And even though there's a train in the background, we're going to keep on going. And the reason why I'm going to hop right into this podcast and today, everyone, I'm not even wasting time. I like this time of the year because it allows me to either put up or shut up. It allows me to either put up or shut up. This entire summer, I've had the opportunity to speak to some school districts, and I've recognized in my professional field that there are some people that get a chance to speak and they don't even teach. It's no shade to them. But I like the pressure for me because I told teachers this year to believe. I told them to have systems. And now I got to prove it. Not only do I have to prove it, y'all, I have to prove it with 55 new fourth graders at the Ron Clark Academy. And normally we normally take about 30. Not only do we have to do that, the Ron Clark himself, I'm a phenomenal administrator and mentor. He actually gave me a new thing to teach on top of social studies, which is about the elections. So now I get to teach about the elections during an election year in the state of Georgia at the Ron Clark Academy with people visiting, with 55 new fourth graders, and we got to make it happen. It has to be A1, it has to be top level, and I'm excited about that. And that's why today's episode, everyone, I want to give you this philosophy to help you out. The title is the first day of school or whatever title has come to mind, but I want to give you something that will give you some type of control, that will give you some type of substance, right? You know, I'm an educator. I'm also a influencer. I'm also an author. I'm also, more importantly, a businessman. You know, I'm a businessman because I love to give. I'm a philanthropist, right? And I have found out that when you want people to operate at a high level, that you must set that expectation and then have systems to shut it down when it's going good or when it's going bad. Check out this quote right here by Tony Gaskins. I've been saying it to people, but I really want you to let this sit in. Tony Gaskins says, you train people how to treat you by what you allow, stop, and reinforce, right? So in my business, how do I train people how to treat me? Well, when I send an invoice out, you have this due date to get it in. Right? When I'm going to do a speech, there is a contract put into place to say, these are the parameters of what I'm willing to give for these services. I'm not going past this. You're training people how to treat you and respond to you. In the classroom, it's the same concept, right? In the classroom, it's the same concept. And what I mean by that is this. For me this year, I know that I have a challenge with the 55 fourth graders. I know I have a challenge with teaching a new content area that I'm not necessarily sure that I even how to structure. I'm building out a new curriculum for it, right? So for me, I know that I'm going to have to set the expectations for them in a very strong way at the beginning of this week and the next 2 weeks. Some of my students listen to this podcast right now. So my sixth grade students, Callie, you know, I love you, baby. You know, Princeton, all of y'all, my crew, Kyla, you know, I love y'all. But they know, Mr. Bonner, I love them, but I don't play. And we got a job to do. And I made a promise to their parents and to them, they're going to be the best sixth graders in the entire world. In order to do that, I have to have strong expectations. So how am I going to train them? Y'all, we're going to go through these expectations. I want you to think about your expectations in your own life. Like, how detailed are you? So here's a couple for me, even in my class, right? One, are we going to go through on the first date? Look, how do you leave the classroom? You know, how do you enter the classroom? You know, how do you address me? At our school, the expectation at the Ron Clark Academy, you must always say yes, sir, or no, sir, or yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, right? The syllabus, my call and responses, what it's like to debate in my class versus actually having a conversation, what it's like to talk to the person beside you, what is it like to have talking with music or no music. Like, we're going to go through all of those different things because if I don't put the foundation in now of how I want them to treat me and me treat them, this year ain't gonna go good. No learning or success can take place in a classroom or business if there isn't ramifications for when something goes wrong. when there isn't real systems in place, right? Right now, everyone has a vision statement for their business or a belief system and expectations for their kids. But if you don't have any systems in place to keep things in check, you're not going to be efficient. And I want you to start thinking about that. How are you training people to treat you? Oh, let's go a little bit deeper. Let's have some fun because I got time on the day. I'm only 5 minutes in. Let's go a little bit deeper, right? Let's go this way. How about this? When you're in a relationship, say perhaps you and your bae, y'all go out to a club, right? You and your partner, your lovey-dovey, you know what I'm saying? The person you in love with. Y'all at the club, right? All of a sudden, this dude comes up behind your girl and he tries to dance with her, right? They actually start dancing. Okay, this is 2024. You never know what people are going to do. She starts dancing with him, etc. for whatever reason. After the club, what do? After the party or the wedding, what do? I think that's what we need to focus on. What do you do when things go wrong or right? What is going to be your response? So this year in my classroom, if a kid talks back to me, if I let it slide, I have trained my student that's okay. But what I can do is immediately give them a consequence, tell them to see me after class, contact the parent, follow up with the kid the next day. Hey, guess what? This is a brand new day. I'm proud of you. I know yesterday was just a moment, but let's get into it. I address that behavior with a strong enough system and boundary that if it happens again, I have to up my boundaries and systems even more. But that's better than just letting it slide. A lot of times in life, people just let things slide. We can't afford to let things slide. It's not productive to let things slide, right? So on today, this is what I want us to think about. This is something I think that you should definitely begin to ponder. It is Q3, y'all. 2024 is almost over. Because 2024 is almost over, we got to ask ourselves, are we on track to achieve the goals that we have set out to achieve at the beginning of the year? If we are on track to achieve those goals, see if we can put new systems in place to make us more efficient. What do I mean by this? For me, I am building a fund to make sure some kids have scholarships. Are there any other investment opportunities to ensure those babies I can achieve my goal faster? All right. This is the perfect time to review your systems and models. If you're in a trash relationship and you're not happy, right? Based on the type of relationship, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, it could be a marriage. It's the perfect time to say, you know what, how can I make this relationship even better? And I want you to think about that. I want you to internalize that. And this is the perfect time to think about how you can switch it. This is the perfect time. If you look at it, the world takes this time to reflect. A good example, the stock market, normally September is its worst month. People are selling things, repositioning for the new year. The beginning of the school is around this time. People are setting up to have an incredible year. This is the time. This is my first week of school, baby. We're back, but I'm focused on expectations this week. Not only for my students, but for myself. And I know you train people how to treat you by what you allow, stop, and reinforce. And I hope you allow me to continue to speak life into you because I absolutely believe in you. The only reason why I'm making this podcast is I got things that I have to do and create grades and syllabuses, things. Y'all, the only reason why I make this podcast is to try to give you life and something to smile and look forward to every week. I want you to know that someone sees you. So to all my people out there, if you're struggling right now, you know me. If you're struggling right now, you're going through, listen, I got your back. I'm going to show up for you every Wednesday here. I'm going to show up for you because I know what it's like to be hurting. I know what it's like, y'all, to be depressed. I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to not be seen. I know. But just know you got someone here for you. And for those that are winning, I'm your biggest cheerleader. Okay? This is Conversations Unleashed, rising together. And if you enjoyed this podcast from today, you need to share this piece with someone, how people train you and treat you. And I can't wait for next week's episode. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Take care of yourself. And never forget, beautiful people, legacy over likes. Peace.